Nearly 8 million South Africans below the age of 34 are currently unemployed. They're also not participating in any form of education nor training program. But one youth organization says job seekers spend over 600 rands a month looking for work, money that's hard to come by and barely enough. Youth Capital launched a publication that has a special focus on youth unemployment, and the platform seeks to tell stories of those affected by the job crisis in this country. So let's discuss this further with Mario Meyer, Policy Analyst for Youth Capital. Mario, a very warm good morning to you and thank you so much for your time. I'm looking at these stats right now. 8.2 million, that marks 40% of South Africa's 20.4 million young South Africans, this age between 15 and 24, who are not only unemployed but also can't access, schools, they can't access education or even a training program. So we're dealt with a double impact here, not only of unemployment but that of lack of access to skills for a young person to be employable in South Africa.
Good morning. Yes, that's quite true. The last quarterly labour force survey said that 8.5 million youth between the ages of 15 and 34 were not in employment, education or training. And I think given the impact of COVID-19 and lockdown, unfortunately that number is likely to increase, maybe even quite substantially.
Yeah, you talk about an increase of that number. Could this be due to COVID-19 and the lockdown at the stage?
I think due to the impacts of COVID-19 and lockdown, so with education, for example, the education journey of many young people has been disrupted, as well as due to the impact on employment, many businesses closing down, people working fewer hours, etc. So due to the impact of both education and unemployment, I think that number is likely to increase.
Yeah, and just according to research, based on what you're saying, retailers are one example of business, because we know that even during the December period, usually they would employ temporary workers, usually being young people, to come work at the holidays. But because of the pressure right now, even with the sector being so affected, it seems that even they can't provide that relief.
Yes, I think so, and I think we are likely to be living with the impact of COVID-19 and lockdown for a while, even though the economy may be opening up slowly and there's push for greater opening up, for example, with the alcohol industry. I think there may still be a fearfulness on the part of consumers to be out and about and trading in the economy.
Mario, when we talk about a 40% statistic in terms of young people that are affected by unemployment in South Africa, do we know of specific provinces that show the highest number of youth affected by unemployment, or does the number spread sporadically across the country?
From what I know, the higher numbers of unemployment are concentrated in the economic hubs of South Africa, so Gauteng and Western Cape, for example. In other provinces like KwaZulu-Natal. In other provinces where there's less density of people, the unemployment rate tends to be a little bit lower. So where there are more opportunities, there are more people, but because there are only few opportunities available or not enough opportunities for everybody looking for opportunities, the number tends to be concentrated where economic activity is higher.
Yeah, and how are you then, trying in your best way you can in terms of efforts trying to tackle this issue?
We are promoting an action plan that addresses the need for tackling youth unemployment, and this action plan focuses on key three areas, those being education, transitions, that period between a young person leaving school, college and university and finding a job, and the area of jobs itself. And this action plan brings together data as well as the lived experiences of young people to put together 10 action points across those three focus areas. Action points that we believe if we focused on these and if we all as society came together to focus on these, that we could make a dent in addressing youth unemployment in South Africa.
Yeah, and oftentimes when you talk about youth unemployment, the word entrepreneurship then comes about. Do you think that is one possible avenue for the youth of SA to consider? Or do you think right now the economy perhaps may not be as lucrative enough to absorb them and for the market share to be spread quite evenly?
I think entrepreneurship is part of the solution. I don't think it's the silver bullet, though. Entrepreneurship is quite difficult, and I think there is some research that's being done that says people who tend to succeed in entrepreneurship tend to have some experience going into it. I think it tends to be a lower number of people who succeed straight off the bat at a young age in entrepreneurship. So having some experience, I think, gives one a sense of confidence in pursuing entrepreneurship. But in addition, one also needs support because the entrepreneurship is not an easy one, especially in the current climate. So if we're going to encourage more young people to pursue entrepreneurship, we also need to ensure that they have the support that they'll need in that journey, because the chances of succeeding first time round or with one's first venture are lower than the chances of succeeding.
Well, Youth Policy Analyst from Youth Capital, Mario Meyer, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.